But Thanksgiving politics can be serious, especially to Native Americans in Plymouth, Massachusetts.
Well, Thanksgiving, to my people, the Wampanoag people, it was the beginning of the end of our culture. We got pushed aside. We were considered in the way. We were separated between good Indians and bad Indians, and we just consider that what the white man celebrates as a day of Thanksgiving, we have absolutely nothing as a culture to be thankful for. That's why we consider it a day of mourning.
And we stand here today to speak the truth about Thanksgiving. Now, in about 45 minutes, there's going to be a parade that's going to march down by the Rock. These people are going to be dressed as pilgrims. But let me tell you something. In one hand, they're going to have the Holy Bible, and in the other hand, they're going to have a musket. Now, what does that tell you?
We were speaking up there on the hill. Next thing you know, there's all these people dressed up like pilgrims marching down below us, down on the main street in Plymouth, right by the waterfront. And then they were kind of worshiping at the shrine of Plymouth Rock. And we marched and we met them. We took the streets of Plymouth. It's that simple.
Got to go. Pilgrim progress, we say no. Racism has got to go. Pilgrim progress, we say no.
Yes, some people are angry at us because they've traveled for 1,000 miles to see Plymouth Rock and so forth. Well, I'm sorry if I destroyed their Thanksgiving, because I think of the millions of lives that were destroyed by what those people, those so-called religious pilgrims, represent. And I don't feel bad about wrecking their Thanksgiving at all.
Children at two Southland schools just wanted to celebrate Thanksgiving.
And instead, they got caught up in a clash over culture and costumes. Maya Sanchez shows us why parents were protesting.
For some 40 years, Claremont kindergartners have alternated making the pilgrimage between their two elementary schools, symbolizing how two cultures celebrated the first Thanksgiving.
This is what America's about, is coming together as a union.
It's only to show respect to the culture.
This year, the costumes are under attack. A handful of Native Americans and parents, including a professor at UC Riverside, call the handmade bonnets and headdresses demeaning, racist. Despite a supportive letter from the Seneca Nation of Indians, school district officials took action.
Out of respect for the Native American heritage, we have made the decision to ask the children not to dress up.
Neither the district nor parent who spearheaded the opposition returned our calls for further comment. Students, urged by parents, donned their outfits anyway, but their tradition sparked confrontation and a subsequent peace offering that was rejected.
This is the reason we're doing this today.
We said
so. Like to have turkey dinner with
We've seen this trick before.
Costume supporters say they intend to slap the district with a costly message that they should not cave in to the minority, but heed the majority. Hundreds of parents are threatening to keep their children home from school on Wednesday, costing the district attendance funds. But the price of this lesson on cultural unity seems instead to have divided this community. In Claremont, Maya Sanchez, KTLA News.
A costume controversy in Claremont. The school board changes a decades-long tradition of students dressing up to celebrate Thanksgiving, and some parents are now outraged. Eyewitness News reporter Rob McMillan takes a look at both sides of the wardrobe war.
It's a tradition that's been in place for decades in Claremont. Kindergartners at Mountain View and Condit Elementary dress up in costumes. They take turns every other year. One school dresses up as pilgrims, the other as Indians, and they join each other for a Thanksgiving feast. But this year, there's a big change. The school board still decided to have the feast, but not allow the students to dress up. They are concerned Indian costumes may have negative connotations.
But out of respect for the Native American heritage, we have made the decision to ask the children not to dress up.
It's a decision that's infuriated many parents who ignored the school board and dressed up their kids anyway.
I think it's ridiculous. It's a long-standing tradition, and the kids really enjoy it, so I think it's going a little overboard.
Just after 9 o'clock this morning, the students, the kindergartners, took their annual walk up for the Thanksgiving feast, many of them still wearing costumes as a form of protest. But at the end of a nearly mile-long march for the students, another protest, this from a Native American group.
What's offensive is that there are stereotypes that represent this harmful legacy of history that has been denied to indigenous people here in this country. And the true history of Thanksgiving is one of a massacre.
For the students, there was a filling feast. For parents, there were fierce arguments.
I'm not saying that I necessarily agree that everything that happened in the past was right. There's many things that happened.
But when those traditions are harmful to other members of the community, why continue them?
How getting together to share a meal is harmful at all. This is why America is so great, that we all can get together, all different cultures, all different ethnicities, and we get together and we share a meal together.
Even though the board chose not to allow costumes, we're told students who dressed up were allowed to stay that way. The board's goal was cultural sensitivity. The result, though, a decades-long tradition for kids that became a political protest for parents. In Claremont, Rob McMillan, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
All right, let's check on the road.